Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most, here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news, and Craig, thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's
Friday. Friday.
Thank God it's
Friday. Friday.
Friday. That's right. It's party time Italian style.
And that's where's that club? That's a West Coast club, right? That's no New York club. That's a
No,
West
that is I'm actually not sure where that is, where that club is. That's actually a very, very good question, but it does have a West Coast feel to it.
Yeah. That's not how people dressed on the East Coast during the time period. They just no.
During the disco era.
No, that's not how we dressed. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
I love that. My favorite character in that movie was Leatherman. I love to dance.
Yeah. Yes, we had the same amount of leather, but definitely not the colors. Definitely not the colors.
Okay. That probably, the color's probably a dead giveaway. That was like burnt orange, like was in then and then disappeared for decades. And I think came back in like the 2000s.
I like the guy with the silver leather vest on, and only the silver leather vest. Silver leather pants. So
yeah, that sounds like a San Francisco thing.
I was thinking LA, but it's all California, so it's the same.
Oh yeah. No. That right there is definitely, if that is the West Coast, that right there was definitely Southern California.
There you go.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
There you go.
So how are we doing so far today, my friend?
We are doing all right. We were working all day, so we're a little tired, but we're ready to knock this out of the park, baby.
Ready to get down with the get down. Well, let's get down while the getting is good. Let's start with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Got yourself an AR in the past 5 years where you probably got one of the barrels and don't even know. Now you can buy from them factory direct for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. You got the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market. Get on over to U.S. Combat. Go over to Hog Holsters. HogHolsters.com. That's HAWG Holsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. It's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want some of the best tactical gear on the market, field gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it is, get your group together, get your agency together, put yourself in order at uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. We make it real easy for you guys to connect with our sponsors. All you have to do, however you are partaking of the program, just go to the description of the program and you will find a link to their websites. Go there. Click on the link. Check them out. Spend some money with them. And tell them that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. Trust me, that helps us, that helps you, that helps them. We all have a good time. We all get something good out of the deal.
We get to share the love.
Get to share the love. Also want to encourage you, if you are watching the program live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, we're taking your comments, so go ahead and give us a shout out. If you're watching us on Rumble, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Facebook, or you're watching us on Twitter, go ahead and comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know where you're watching the program from. And if we find your comments to be interesting, we'll go ahead and we'll share them with the audience. And quite frankly, even if we don't have to agree with your comments in order to share them. But just know this, that if we disagree with them, we may mock you. We do reserve the right. We do reserve the right to mock you. Anyway. All right, let's go ahead and jump into today's program because we've got some very interesting news slated or that's going on right now. It starts with, it starts with what's been going on with the former director of the FBI. I'm sure you guys all remember James Comey. Well, James Comey is now under investigation for, of all things, a death threat to the President of the United States of America. Check it out.
Former FBI Director James Comey is under active federal investigation for assassination threats against President Trump. I can hardly believe it. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. He posted this picture of seashells arranged in the shape of 8647 with the caption, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." No, not so cool. In fact, 86 is frequently used as a call sign for murdering or getting rid of someone. You would think the FBI director would know that. While the White House swiftly condemned the message as an attempt to put out a hit against the 47th president, Comey took down the photo hours later and posted this curious explanation, quote, "The shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took down the post." You'll notice there's not an apology there. And it's hard to believe that a former FBI director with a storied career in law enforcement had no idea about the meaning behind 86. It's defined in the Urban Dictionary this way, quote, "To get rid of, originally for killing someone, the phrase 80 miles out and 6 feet under is reserved for someone who had to dig their own grave 80 miles from civilization and then get shot execution style." Comey had no clue. President Trump, though, is not buying it.
He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason.
So a source.
All right. I got to hear your thoughts, Mike. What you thinking?
Listen, as much as I would like to see Comey go to jail, for some of the stupid crap he's doing, I do not believe that just simply using the term 86 is enough to indicate that he wants to kill the president or see the president killed. There's multiple examples of 86 being used out there, and it all basically means get rid of something. Now, in the military, we used it. We'd say 86 that guy, because back in the Korean War days, the F-86 was the number one fighter in the world, and when you killed your enemy, you say you 86'd them, shot them down with an enemy fighter. In the restaurant business, though, Craig, we used it to say, we're out of French onion soup, 86 the French onion soup. You got rid of it. You just took it off the books. Listen, if you're a bunch of mob guys sitting around, you say, let's 86 this guy, it probably had a different meaning. But beyond saying what the definition or what context it was used in, 86 simply just means get rid of it. And this could simply mean I don't want him as our president anymore. Get rid of him. It could mean impeach him. It could mean, let's not agree with him. Unless you put this into what context it's used, to me, it just means I disagree with him. Let's get rid of him.
Okay, I got to tell you, I 100% agree with you. I think this is I don't want to say it's much ado about nothing. What I'll say is this, is for someone who was the former director of the FBI, you would think that, he would have thought twice before using before using something like that, because it just doesn't sound good. It doesn't look good. I agree with you. I've always heard 86th as once again just kind of a term for, get rid of something or kicked out. In fact, there's a group that's based here out of Northern California. They're called the Good Old Boys, and they have a song, and it's called 86. Let me play a little bit of it for you.
Walk up in the club, we got one on the loose. Me plus the Jackie was a ton of abuse. I didn't like his lip, gave him the ones and the twos. I got faith in my swing like a nun on a noose. Now the bartender's pissed cause I barf and I piss. And I don't even go outside before I spark my spliff. I walk past the bouncer and he starts to shift. Now I know exactly where I'm parking my fist. 20 shots later, I'm too wasted to think. The owner's hella pissed, she caught me making my drinks. She got a couple bounces, but they shaking in sync. And I can see the fear watching behave when I blink. I can't help it, I'm addicted to fast life. Mind hella cloudy when I'm thinking about last night. Probably should have taken.
I'm just waiting for it to get to the refrain.
Shit, I was probably 86 from
Yeah,
my
you couldn't have
past
fast
life.
forwarded it, huh?
No.
I've been kicked out of nicer places than this. And I gotta find myself a new place that won't be missed. They put my picture on the wall and put my name right on that list. Making noise with the good old boys, and now I wound up 86.
Anyway, I should have tried to fast forward it to that point, but my apologies. But no, I've always thought of it literally as in bar terminology or as in club. It's like 86 meant you're out of here. We're kicking you out. I've never heard the refrain, the terminology where it actually meant a death threat. But then again, I'm not the former director of the FBI.
He should have known. He should have known not to put this out there. He should have known it was going to be, misinterpreted, a bunch of different ways. And yes, I same thing, Craig. Working in the service industry, we'd 86 people all the time. Take that guy out. 86 that guy. Or that meant he was trespassed. That guy's been 86. He can't come back.
Right. It is the thing though is that we're supposed to forgive Democrats when they make or we're supposed to forgive Trump haters when they make a mistake like that. But Lord forbid a Republican should make a mistake like that. Of course, we are at the same time. We don't have our leaders threatening violence. And by the way, this all fits within what Democrats have been doing when it comes to threatening violence against conservatives.
Yeah, exactly. Listen now, Craig, if this had been, Comey had the job still and he had said this is enough to, fire him, over stupid selection.
Oh, yeah.
This is not enough to charge somebody with. It's just
No.
unless you do a search warrant on Jim Comey's house and he's got a journal that lists next task 86 the president and put him 6 feet under.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I am all for him being investigated for it, but I don't.
Sure.
Like you said, unless they find like you said a journal that says, okay, next thing we're going to do 86 the president.
That's it. Yeah.
Dude should know better. That's all I'm going to say. The worst part is dude should know better. But he gave into the culture of violence that is now preeminent within the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Listen, this is nowhere as bad as I think when Kathy Griffin carried the severed mummy's head or dummy's head. That was pretty clear. That didn't have much more meaning than let's cut the president's head off.
Right. And I'm wondering if she was ever investigated for that?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, I guess they all just took it as a bad joke, which is pretty much par for the course with Kathy Griffin.
That's what she said. She said it was artistic. It was my artistic license to to interpret it the way I wanted to. Whatever. That's why you've done nothing since then. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, in other news, another interesting person from the former administration, Jen Psaki. Looks like she's been a rising star over at MSNBC. She, in fact, took over Rachel Maddow's spot over there. But it appears that she's run into a bit of a hiccup following the revelation about the president and the literal cover-up. And I call it a revelation. Once again, to most of us, it was not a revelation. It was just now they're finally admitting what we all knew to be the case. But according to the Washington Free Beacon, MSNBC rising star Jen Psaki suffers ratings flop amid scrutiny of role in Biden cover-up. And yes, she was part of the cover-up. Let's see here. It says MSNBC has been slouching toward oblivion since November, when its parent company Comcast announced it was cutting ties with the left-wing network. Things got so bad after the election that network executive forced their highest-rated host, Rachel Maddow, to work 5 days a week instead of one to collect her $25 million salary. Maddow returned to her old schedule earlier this month to make way for MSNBC rising star Jen Psaki, the self-described journalist who previously served as White House press secretary under Joe Biden. The early returns do not bode well for Psaki, who is facing increased scrutiny for her role in the cover-up of Biden's cognitive decline. Psaki debuted her new show, The Briefing, which will occupy Maddow's coveted 9 p.m. weekday slot, except Mondays when Maddow hosts, on May 6th. MSNBC's new boss, Rebecca Cutler, reported views Psaki as face of the network's new era. The ratings for the debut weren't bad, presumably because some Maddow fans were unaware of the switchover. They crashed down to earth the following day. On May 7, viewership in the crucial 25 to 54 age demographic, the only number advertisers care about, plunged from 139,000 to just 65,000, a decline of 53%. So in other words, her numbers have tanked. Now the question is, one, is it because people just didn't know that Maddow wasn't going to be there anymore? And if so, I don't know what is so great about Rachel Maddow, but okay. Or is it because, they're like, now all of a sudden the people who watch this channel are now realizing that Jen Psaki was in fact involved in the cover-up of Biden's senility?
First off, got to defend Jen. Everybody loves Jen. Jen's my girl. Hook a brother up, Jen. Give me a call. But listen, you talk to her you say she's a rising star. Craig, I think she's just the last star standing over there. That's last recognizable name. And listen, nobody's watching Jen Psaki to hear what she says. They're watching Jen Psaki because they got a redhead thing. That's it. That's all there is to it. She's what comes out of her mouth doesn't make any bit of sense as much as anybody else. And you say, listen, you were standing up there behind the podium, you saw what was going on. We know you're lying. We know you're lying. And Craig, the only way any one of us watched Rachel Maddow was because she was good for one complete breakdown per show. So it was just fun to watch that.
I just couldn't. I never found her show to be particularly compelling. She literally looked like a non-funny Steve Colbert.
She's an angry little boy. I don't know what
she does look like. She does come across as an angry little boy. I always thought that. What's her name? I've forgotten her already.
Tina Fey.
No. The black lady who had the Donald Trump hair on MSNBC. Joy Reid. I always thought her show was more entertaining because she was so apt to lie and be ridiculous in her lies. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially there was the short period of time there where she had her Donald Trump wig.
Yeah. Well, again, the only reason we watched Maddow is because you again, I mean, at least once a week, you knew she was good for a meltdown. So
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's on, I'm watching it live, watch it. And Jen's, that's a redhead thing. That's all it is.
Yeah. We know. That's why, by the way, folks, there's a reason why every single time I see a Jen Psaki story, I have to include it, and that is for Mike.
Call me. Jen, call me.
he's trying to get a shout out to Jen Psaki. There you go. Oh, okay. Here's something that you guys have been watching. Like, Donald Trump has been catching a bunch of grief from the right and the left regarding the whole jet thing and whether or not we're going to take a jet or take Air Force One or accept a gift of a new Air Force One to be used. Well, it turns out that conversations about this particular jet, about them doing this, making this contribution, well, guess what? It didn't start with President Trump. In fact, Republicans are saying Biden started the controversial negotiations for the backup Air Force One. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican of Oklahoma, recently claimed that widely criticized negotiations with Qatar over a $400 million Air Force One temporary replacement gift began under the Biden administration after President Donald Trump, not after President Donald Trump took office. Quote, what no one is talking about is that the same 747 has been in negotiations for a year, Mullen said on CNN Wednesday. The Biden administration is the one that started these conversations. It didn't start underneath the Trump administration. Why? Because we need a backup for Air Force One. So in other words, initially it was negotiated as a backup for Air Force One, and now they're talking about using it as the replacement, or at least the temporary replacement until the Boeings are ready to go. And then once President Trump is out of office, it'll go to the Trump Presidential Library. He says he's not going to fly it around. Yeah, I'm sure he's not going to fly it around. Anyway, all that having been said, it's kind of interesting. You don't hear many people talking about this, do you?
I've heard quite a few, but for stupid reasons. One, it's a brand new 747, and wow, how enlightening that Biden started it. Nobody's talking about that part of it for darn sure. You're right. Nobody's talking about how Biden started the negotiation for it. Two, it's a brand new 747. The Qatar was not using it, so they're like, here you go. Here's a gift for you or a loan for you. And the part of the story we do hear about is, it could have all sorts of sensitive equipment in it. They could have listening devices. They're gonna know what the president's saying. Listen, if you for one moment think that the president's just gonna hop in this and slap some POTUS stickers on the outside and call it Air Force One, you're crazy. There's so much electronics and security equipment that have to go in that first. It's going to be stripped down to the airframe and start it all back over again to get it to where it can get close to a U.S. standard for the president or other executive transport. By the way, probably the same amount of time as it would take for the current 747s that are on the line being produced that are late. It would probably take the same amount of time for finish a new one and refurb this very, very recent new one. It's ludicrous. I think what this does is this puts Boeing under the gun now for them to start producing. You can no longer have these sit around on their butt. We only work one day a week from home schedules. This is notice to them from the president that, hey, if you can't do your job, I'll find somebody else that will.
Well, and I think you just hit the nail on the head. That's the real message. The real message is, look, you guys, it's time for you to start doing your jobs.
Yeah.
Not saying, just saying.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be fun stuff. It once again, this is something you're not going to hear a lot about. No one's going to talk a whole lot about it, even though it's a valid conversation. And when you do bring it up to them, they're going to, they'll lie. The left will lie because that's what they do. All right. Now this is an interesting one out of California. Just when you think things could not get any weirder in California, guess what we're doing now? That's right. Grievance hustlers come after racist street name. Cancel culture comes calling once again in Sacramento, where I live, of course. According to SF Gate, California is reckoning with its colonial past and replacing a street name that includes a racial slur in Sacramento County. Officials confirm the street, Squaw Valley Way, will be renamed River Valley Way. While they are at it, why doesn't the state just offer to pay for residents of Squaw Valley Way reparations for their pain and suffering? We don't need to get a whole bunch more into this. It is amazing. I just wanted to point out how there is no grievance small enough for the race hustlers to go after. And in this particular case, it's called Squaw Valley Way because it's named after, a place called Squaw Valley. And because the term squaw is considered negative, even though it is, now correct me if I'm wrong. Once again, I don't speak any Native American languages, so let me just throw that out there. But I always understood squaw to mean, at least in one Native American language, it was referring to a female Indian or young female Indian or Native American.
Yeah, that's what my understanding is that it was a single young female Indian. Yes.
So why are we tripping over? I mean, why are we tripping over this? Or why is anybody tripping over this?
Because this is more of the what you call it, the breaking down statues, right? This is taking down the last of the statues, last of the signs that have names on it. It's the same reason that we have the Cleveland Guardians and the Redskins are coming back to Washington, but yeah. And again, Craig, I don't know if squaw was one used in California. I think California was it the Chumash people was the biggest Indian tribe in California. I think the Chumash.
I have no idea.
And
I have no idea. Whenever we do like the land acknowledgments or they do the land, I don't listen because I want to know who they stole the land from.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. We stole their land. We put them on reservations and all that good stuff. All right. Listen. We just reserved a space for you. That's all. It's a reservation. So, hey, by the way, do you know what you would call it if you had plans to stay on Native American land, but then changed your mind?
Canceled reservation?
It'd be a reservation.
Oh. Okay, reservation about your reservation on the reservation.
That's right. It's a reservation.
Dun-dun-dun. All right, folks. Well, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code, The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there. Get your discount today. All right, this first parting shot here today, I want you to hear this because this is the sort of stuff that the reason why Robert F. Kennedy was brought in to the administration, because he has no problem when it comes to Republicans or Democrats when they say stupid stuff, correcting them and helping them to understand. Because I know you've been hearing a lot about these Medicaid cuts. Well, let him just put these Medicaid cuts in perspective for you.
Do you disagree with the cuts that are being proposed for Medicaid right now?
Oh, the cuts to, this is I don't know if you understand this or whether you're just mouthing, the Democratic talking points. The cuts to Medicaid are for fraud, waste, and abuse, and I'll tell you what that means. It means that because of DOGE, we were able to determine, and it's about 8 million people who would be affected. Because of DOGE, we were able to determine that there are 1 million people who are claiming Medicaid from multiple states. That's illegal. It's theft. You're not allowed to do that. There are another 1 million people who are collecting both under Obamacare and
Mr. Secretary, that has nothing to do with the budget that's
These are
actually
the only
being
cuts that are
proposed
being
in the
made.
House.
These are the only cuts that are being made to Medicaid.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
It's the funniest thing because he's like, well, that's not true. No, it is true, and you don't just get to say it's not. If you want evidence, then show us what are the other cuts. And needless to say, the congressman was not able to do that.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Jackwagon, I wrote this. Okay? You know what I mean? Secretary of HHS, I wrote this. This is how this works. By the way, where are they that they have to position Senator Kennedy there in front of the women's bathroom door and have the camera pointed into it? What is that about? Why are we get women coming and going in the bathroom right behind him? It just
I have no idea. Anyway,
nobody thought that would be a bad idea.
Who knows? All right, so this next one, there's two clips here, both of them of Senator Kennedy. And this is just, I mean, if you've never watched Senator Kennedy before, this was a Republican.
Not Bobby Kennedy.
Not Bobby Kennedy. This is Senator Kennedy. RFK was a member of Congress. But this guy, I'm going to tell you what, if there's anybody who has the ability to have folksy sayings and stuff like that, that just will crack you up. Sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, you're trying too hard. But sometimes, man, he just nails it.
Before the president did what he did, China's tariffs on the United States were a little over 20% on average. Now they're 10. Our tariffs on China were a little over 20. Now they're 30. That's a 20-point swing. Now, I've listened all day to some of my Democratic colleagues say that, well, we didn't get anything for it. If you believe that, I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person in the world doesn't die. China wants a deal. China's economy is in worse shape, I'll be glad to talk about it if you want, than it's been in 25 years. They can't afford a trade war. They are quietly seeking a deal with President Trump, as are 40% of the countries in the world. I mean, the president's won. We wouldn't have this opportunity but for what he did. All I'm saying is, let's take it. Let's pounce on it like a ninja. I would be on this deal like a hobo on a ham sandwich, man. I'd have him.
Hobo on a ham sandwich.
Hobo on a ham sandwich. I do like. I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you ought to make sure the dumbest person in the world is still alive.
That was a great one. Okay. All right, this last one. This is for the Democrats out there. Just so you know, the deaf community knows who you are. Just saying.
Y'all gotta forgive me, I'm a little distracted. This is the first show I've ever done with an interpreter. This is fucking cool right now. Well, I'm trying to learn shit. Retard. Democrat. This is the same thing. It's the same thing. I knew it. Democrat. Retard. Democrat. Dude, you gotta be kidding me. Are you kidding me? I did not set this up, Democrat. It's the same thing. I quit. Mommy, good night. I love it.
That's pretty good right there.
That's pretty good right there. I don't care who you are. Oh, that's some good stuff. All right, we have a comment here from a Wendell White, except, Wendell, I don't know what you're commenting about. You're commenting about something on Grand Avenue. Dude, wrong post. All I can tell you is you just posted maybe you're listening to the show and you're commenting on something else on Facebook. But yeah, dude, wrong post. Just thought you should know.
Grand Avenue? Maybe it was Grant Avenue they're getting rid of? Grant Avenue?
No, this is Grand Avenue, which is, by the way, is right up it's not that far from me. I mean, he's talking about something going on in Del Paso Heights, DPH. Not Old Sac, but North Sac.
Grand. Oh, like Grand Dragon, maybe. He's the Grand Dragon?
No. Not unless he's like the Dave Chappelle Grand Dragon, from the Dave Chappelle show. Because Wendell White is a brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to help.
Name Wendell. Look. Or Wendell. I don't know any white Wendells. Do you?
Where are all the white Wendells at?
Where are all the white Wendells at? If you're out there, give us a holler. All right, folks, that brings us to the end of the program. But before we go, we got one last thing to do, and that's one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Now you get AR barrels and rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire for your next AR rifle or AR pistol build. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, assault gear, law enforcement, military, security, whatever it is, get your group together, get your agency together, put yourself an order in over at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Once again, please take a moment, visit our sponsors. Just follow the links in the description of this program. Go there, spend some money with them. Tell them the guys over at the Rundown sent you. And with that, we're going to call it a show. We're going to call it a day. We're going to call it a week. We will be back with you on Monday. Monday, fun day, gun day. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, have a good weekend, and we will see you on the flip side.
Go Crystal Palace.